Hello boys and girls, Joe here, welcome to the shop. Today we got another Doodads for you. We got some interesting stuff, we got some machining content, a little bit of stuff on the motorcycle, and some new tools that came in. So we're going to show you that stuff and hopefully you're going to enjoy it. Thanks for watching. We interrupt this lathe project to give you a little update on the bike. First of all, look at all these little red hot missiles that have been flying out of my lathe here. And they've been flying a pretty good distance. So we'll have to run the magnet around pretty soon and get them up. But anyways, been doing a few upgrades to the bike. And one of the things I did was I got one of these. And let me tell you, man, these things are cool. It's kind of a pain getting them to fit in there because they're big. But this is my old headlight. It's a halogen. I think it's H4 or something. This is 60 watts on high beam, 55 on low. And I can't remember how many lumens. I looked this up before and it was like in the neighborhood of like 1,000 lumens, maybe a little more. Maybe 1,500. I don't think it was more than 1,500. But anyways, I put me a new one in here. You can see they're LEDs, but man, they are stupid bright. And you can see how white it is compared to the yellow. We also got LEDs for the all the other lights, including the instrument panel lights. I had some of these left over from when I did my car, so I just plugged them in there. And also brake lights are LEDs and the turn signals as well. And I also put some of these in, these little bullet lights. I got them hooked up to my headlight. But man, let me tell you, the lighting on this thing now is incredible. And it's drawing, not that it matters, but it's drawing considerably less power. You know, I haven't measured it all, but these little bullet lights are drawing 200 milliamps at 12 volts. And you know, I'll have to look online and see what the headlights pull on high beam, but you know, suffice it to say, it's way less than this stock headlight was. So yeah, this people notice you with this kind of stuff on your bike, so it's a good thing. Now, in order for me to get this in here, I did originally cram it in there with the stock connectors and everything, and it was packed. I mean, it was so packed that it was like pushing against the springs that aim it, and I really didn't like that. So I took that connector out. I can find it here. Here it is. You know, your basic stock connector. This part went to the Honda and this part came with the light. And what I did is I ended up crimping on a 3-pin Molex connector, which, you know, obviously is way tinier than this. And then it all fit in there pretty good. I mean, it's, you know, it does go. The back of it has a fan on it. You can kind of see from this picture here what it looks like. This part here is, you know, like the standard flange, and then this extends into where the headlight reflector is. This is all behind it, this big fan and this heatsink and stuff. So, you know, it is a tight fit. but it does fit in my shadow. So yeah, the only incandescent bulbs I have on this thing now are the fuel thing, because that seems to be calibrated to the sensor and it didn't work right with the LED. So I left the bulb in there. And then my two instrument gauges here, they have little bulbs in them too. I gotta find out what they are. They're tiny, but you know, if I can find out what they are, I'm sure I can get LEDs for them as well. But yeah, man, I'll tell you, I love these headlights. The technology is really coming along. You know, this is your standard, supposedly equivalent to a 55-watt headlight. I don't know if it just looks brighter or what, because, you know, it's white, you know, or but I'll tell you, and you know, I could have went out and bought a 100-watt one, but you know, I don't think that's street legal. But yeah, the LED technology is there. You know, you got to figure, you know, you're probably paying, I don't know, say $1 for, you know, your typical 1157 bulb. And, you know, on a bike, you know, on this one, they last, and, you know, they're burning out every couple of years or whatever. You know, it's not a huge expense, but it can be a pain in the ass. Like if you burn out your headlight and you're driving around at night, you know, that blows. So, you know, the reliability factor justifies, in my opinion, the increased cost of these things. Now, you know, I don't know what a brand new stock halogen bulb goes for. I think they're around $15-20. This headlight came in at like $49 or $48. These 1157 type bulbs that are LEDs now, they were about, I want to say, like $6 or $7 a piece. The brake light, yeah, brake lights were about the same. You know, they're all about the same. They're about $6 or $7 a piece. And I get them from two companies that I've tried. One of them is Doodads, you know, Chinese, and there's another one. I don't have the box here, but it's called JDM A-Star, and they make some good stuff too. I have JDM A-Star stuff in my truck. This is kind of a mix. My brake lights are JDMs. All the turn signals are lithium-oys. And that's the headlights in Neo LED, and these are no names. You know, I had to make some adapters for them. I bought these little fork mounting things. They were like $12, and then I had to machine a piece that went between them and the bullet light itself. The wiring, it's hollow in here, so the wiring goes down into the thing, comes out a little hole here, and then goes into the headlight. And you know, these aren't blinding, but they do illuminate the ground in front, and you know, you can be seen better with them. So I'm going to leave them on there. You know, they're nice chrome. You know, who knows how long the chrome's going to last, but, you know, right now they look pretty damn good. So anyways, that's the scoop. Back to the lathe project. And we now continue with our regularly scheduled programming. Alright, we got some goodies here. Gonna open this up, see what's inside of it. Hang on. That's a little better. So let's see what's inside of this thing. Ooh. It is pretty small.
looked a lot bigger in the pictures, but I guess small is better. So there's 3 buttons on this thing. USB port, or I guess that's the everything port. Pretty neat. Got some clippy stuff here. Got a USB cable. Some little USB charger thing. Guess this would be like the permanent mount. Here's the headphones. So yeah, they have that same mini USB thing on it. And some directions. So that's what you get when you buy a single Uclear 200. So we'll play with this thing and see if we can get it to talk to my cell phone.
I don't know if you can hear that, but it's coming through the headphones. Cancel. No. Time and date. Okay, and then you can shut it off. So it does talk to the phone, and it does talk to the tablet. So it's a good thing, I guess, huh?
Okay, we got a little tool order in, and got some stuff here. Now, I've always needed one of these things, but I never really got around to buying one till I was watching Keith Rucker's channel, and he was talking about a point set for his indicators. So I just happened to be putting in a tool order at the time, and I think this thing was like, I don't even remember, but it was really cheap. And you know, I'm sure it'll come in useful sometime. So we got that. Next, we got a new insert that I'm going to experiment with, and see if you can see that. But it's got a really high, I guess you'd call it a rake to it. It's really sharp. So we'll hook this up on one of our tool holders and do some test cuts with it. But I've always wanted to try one of these. It's a finishing bit. Okay, now we come to some interesting stuff here. I finally decided to take the plunge and augment my tap supply here with some spiral point taps. They're nice. Nothing special, high-speed steel, uncoated, but yeah, it'll work pretty good. I've always had the conventional kind of taps, but I figured I'd give these a try. You know, from what I know, they're good for tapping blind holes and stuff. You know, a spiral point tap, they call it a gun tap because it shoots the chips forward. And those things are great for, you know, through-hole type stuff. These are more designed for like a blind hole, because the chips go that away out of the hole. So we'll stick these in our little stash of taps, and when we have a reason to use them, we'll do so. Now, I do have a couple of drill sets that I use. I have a complete set of their stub length drills of the letters, the fractions, and the numbers. And then I also have a set of letter, fraction, and numbers that are jobber length. But yeah, it is good to have, you know, a set with all the intermediate sizes. But what I typically do when I buy drills is I buy them for the tap sizes. So like I got number 7s here, I got number 3s, I got here's I drills, F drills. When you buy them in bulk like this, I mean, these, let's see, there's 12 in here, there's 6 in here, 6 in here, another 12, I got 21s, 36s, and 29s. Those are all the tap drill sizes for SAE threads. And, you know, that's what you're going to be beating on the most. You know, is just a very few of the mini drills. So, you know, I buy them in bulk like this. They're cheap. They're less than $1 a piece when you do this. And yeah, they're not the best tools in the world. I mean, they're cheap, you know, non-coated drills, but they got decent grinds on them. And you know, if you screw one up, it's no big deal. So that's the scoop on those. Okay. Oh, here's another tap. And then as you will see later on in this video, I pretty much demolish a 4-flute end mill. Here it is right here, actually. Problem was that when I was using this thing, I didn't tighten up the chuck, and it ate itself real good. Sides are okay still, but there's only, it's a 4-flute end mill, and there's only one end left, one point left on the end of it. So I'm gonna keep this around because it's carbide, you know, and use it for side milling stuff. And eventually, when it buys the farm, I'll grind it down and make a boring bar out of it. But since I was putting in this tool order, I said I need a new end mill. So I got a carbide end mill, 4-flute. Yeah, it looks alright. So there you go. We'll stick that in my end mill drawer in the place where the old one was. And now, got some other good stuff here. we got a set of expanding mandrels. Oh, and we have Inspector 20 approved them, so they must be good, right? But, you know, up until now, I've been using, you know, mandrels like this. Or, you know, if you really want to get accurate, you turn one in the lathe and, you know, do it that way. The problem with these is that, you know, they expand, you know, from this end. So, you know, even though it's minute, you're always working with a taper. And, you know, I found that these are good for light duty machining things or stuff that's doesn't have to be accurate. But, they're just not hacking it when it comes to, like, you know, holding stuff good. So I got some of these. And they go up to 1 inch. This is a 1 inch one, I guess. And that doesn't say on it, but pretty sure this is a 1 inch one. And you know, the way these work is this the rod. Well, let me open it and show you. This rod is, you know, obviously tapered, and this has the opposite taper inside of it. So when you put the two together, this part expands, you know, over the whole length like a collet. So you get much better grip with these. Also, they got a flat for a lathe dog. They're drilled in the ends for centers. So it's just a better way of doing things. You know, I may eventually go up to the 2 inch. I think this set was like $100, which is cheap, you know. I've been finding lately that Shars is kicking Inco's ass in prices, even with the sales. All the stuff came from Shars. So, yeah, I got the small set. I think it goes like from 3/8 up to 1 inch. And then, you have another set for like another $100 that goes from like 1 inch to 2 inches. So I may eventually get that just to add to the tooling stash. So that's it for the new goodies. I'm going to throw them in the drawers, and then we'll show you some other good stuff. Alright, so now what I've got is something really cool. This is a Nexus 7 tablet computer. And as you can see, this thing is pretty friggin' slick. So, yeah, one of the interesting things was I've had this endoscopic camera, this USB endoscopic camera, for like a year or more. And I never really, you know, I've used it for stuff like, you know, seeing into walls and, you know, stuff like that. I really never had any kind of machining type applications for it, and I never really thought about it. And then I was watching Keith Fenner's channel, and he's been using this on his lathe to show some really good close-ups. So I've got an app on here that lets me do that too. Anyways, yeah, you can kind of see what's going on here. Oh, I probably should turn it over. So anyways, I can record video with this. And hopefully we'll be able to dub this into some of the editor stuff that I'm going to get, and then we'll be able to get you some more interesting shots. Okay, well, anybody who has a big green egg
knows that there's one pain in the ass about the thing, and that is cleaning it. The problem is that you can save your charcoal if you close it, and that works, but you end up with a bunch of little round nuggets that eventually clog all the holes coming into this thing, and then it doesn't have any air and it doesn't work too good, so you got to shovel it out. And I got sick of doing that, so I came up with a little thing here to clean it. Okay, so what you got to do is you got to get one of these things, and they cost about $4. I actually bought 2 of them for $4, and they're made out of stainless, and they're cheap. You know, they're these steamer baskets. Okay, so you get one of them, and then you take the plate out of the bottom of your big green egg and you put it in there. I don't know if you can see that down there. And then you can just pick up all of this crap at once. So what I do is I just do this. Let's get over here. And all the crap comes out of it. Okay? All the little tud balls that'll clog everything up come out of it. And then you just put the thing right back in there. She opens up, you're ready to go. Throw some lighter fluid on there and burn it. When she's done, pick her up again. And man, I'll tell you, this has made this big green egg great. I mean, it was great before because of what it would do, but this cleaning thing was a huge bummer. You know, you get like 2, maybe 3 burns out of it, and then everything would be clogged up and you'd have to shovel it out. And as you can see, there's no real good way to get the stuff out of there. You gotta basically like use your hands to get that junk out of there. So get yourself one of these things, stick it in there, and you'll start loving this thing, because every time you fire it up, it goes up to like insane temperatures if you want. You know, it doesn't sit, you know, when it's clogged up, you can open up this vent on the bottom all the way and it'll just sit there at 200 degrees. But man, you know, you clean this thing out by using one of these little basket things, and it's going to crank every time. I can get, you know, 500-600 degrees out of it, no problem. So that's the scoop. If you get a big green egg, that's what you want to do. Okay, so here's a 5C collet, and the internal thread is 1.04124. So we're going to cut that on the outside of a plug to fit in the back of this thing. Alright, so I got this baby chucked up. I'm going to do a little facing here. We need a nice sharp thread. Guess that's what a hoopty Camaro sounds like with no muffler on it. Alright, we're going to set our zeros. Okay, we're going to do a little scratch cut here to make sure we're cutting at the right who's-he what's-this. Okay, that looks perfect. There we go. Put on a little cut. Alright, we got most of this done now. Got this thing all made. Fits good. Big problem was some of these cheap ass collets I had, the internal threads were screwed up. So I went through my set and I found 3 of them. Wouldn't you know, the one I picked to fit this thing to was one of the screwed up ones. But I found 3 of them that were screwed up. I don't have a tap for 1.04124. So what I had to do was hook up my internal threading tool and chase those threads. And man, let me tell you, trying to pick up a thread, an internal thread that's this fine, is not an easy thing to do. But I did it. And fits in really sweet to all my collets. Okay, so I took a look through my bolt box and I found a suitable candidate for our stop. This is about 380 on the OD. I think it's long enough, so we're going to chop it off right there. I'm going to thread it all the way up as far as we can with a 3/8 24 thread, and then that should be doing it. So we're going to cut it off, face it, put a little center hole in there, put this the head in the chuck, and turn the thread, single point it on here, and then when we start getting close, we'll run a die up there just to finish it off. Alright, we get the tailstock die holder set up, and we're going to try to thread this thing. Man, I gotta clean out this oil thing, it's full of chips. I'm just holding this by hand here. And as soon as it gets up to where it's going to get up to, just let go of it. Okay, so we got it done. There's our bolt that we made. I had a nut laying around. So you can see this goes in here. We got a wrench. Tighten it up. And this is how you would set the depth that you wanted things to stop at. Let's see. Just as an example, here's a drill bit. Not that you would be using a drill bit, but see how you can dial it to whatever depth you want. You want it to go a little deeper, unscrew it. Okay, and then When you're ready, you get your depth set, tighten up that nut. Every time you put something in there, it's at the exact same depth. So this would screw into the collet closer tube that I showed in my last video, and that's the story on that. So that's how you make a collet closer. Thanks for watching.